Hello, you're with me, Sue, at Get Sold. And I thought I would do a little bit of an expanded video here, so maybe in parts. We'll see how it goes. I recently found out some information right around the time of Halloween when everybody's putting their witches out. And I found out something pretty incredible. And I'll share that with you in the end. But let's start out with this. Halloween is usually the time we think about ghoulish things and witches, creepy witches who put spells on people. This goes all the way back through time. And there was a time in humanity where we lost our minds a little bit. And I'm referring to the Salem witch trials. And I got some information that really blew my mind. But let's go back to Salem around the 1600s. There was a young lady named Sarah Good. And she was one of the first to, unfortunately, be a victim of this idiocy regarding witches. Now, my view on witches is simply this. A witch can be either good or bad. It doesn't matter. A witch, to me, is a very derogatory name. Some take it with pride, some don't. There have been many of us, spiritual, intuitive, medicinal women throughout history who are accused of being witches in a derogatory way because we healed people, because we used our intuition, we used earthly herbs, we used energy. We were in connection with Source, we were in connection with Mother Earth, Mother and Father. And for that, many, many, many souls lost their lives being accused of doing demonic things. A lot of it was through ignorance, power, just humanity playing different roles for itself to learn from. But those wounds of being accused and burned at the stake, I had a lifetime of such. A lot of the healers around me have also had the same happen to them. The wounds stay in the cells. And I've known a lot of people, including myself, and a lot close to me, who are not comfortable in this lifetime, for example, sharing their gifts or trying to say earn a living from them, or even just utilizing them, just acknowledging that they have them because these wounds go so deep. So it's really a good time right now to kind of talk about this subject. But there have been times, obviously, in history where humanity needed victims. Humanity needed to kill, to be righteous, to be powerful from an egotistical standpoint, who felt, in an example of, say, a medicinal doctor, perhaps he did not want a woman practicing something where she could probably heal the person and he could not because maybe his methods were not good. And the genders can change, but I'm just going back in history where typically that would be the roles played. And a lot of the intuitives and medicinal people today are still or had still been shunned, and thanks to Rockefeller, herbs and natural medicines have been demonized for sure. So let's go to Salem in 1692 and let's hear what Sarah Good said right before she was executed. So Reverend Noyes had asked her to confess, and her famous last words were, "You are a liar. I am no more a witch than you are a wizard. And if you take away my life, God will give you blood to drink." Unquote. 25 years later, Reverend Noyes died of a hemorrhage and literally did choke on his own blood. He was 9 days shy of his 70th birthday. Does that make her a witch, or does that make her an intuitive? It depends on what you feel about the word witch. Now, I will confess, from my own wounding, I never liked the word witch, because to me it did imply those who join covenants and use spells to control people. But then I also know that because I was called a witch, and let's just say I was more of a good witch, although I've had my demonic roles too. But when we come to the word witch, I know that I had been sacrificed as well for doing good in the name of being a witch. So it's in our humanity, it's in our DNA, so to speak, to heal this wound. And there's lots of videos that are very helpful that I've listened to a few that have helped kind of hone in on that wound to help heal it. But the reason I'm making this video is because it's even bigger in my own life right now. When I got this information regarding my relative, I had no idea that he played such a public role in all of this. What's even more crazy, I just learned that a very dear friend of mine, a spirit sister, who's come back into my life, and we're here to help heal each other's wounds in many ways, and I do want to have her on this show. I just found out that Sarah Good was her great, 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 great grandmother on her mother's side. Now, this person is an incredible spark of energy, is very intuitive, very enabled spiritually. And some of the wounding that I didn't realize that I was to help her heal was the witch wound. Whereas you do not acknowledge your power, you do not acknowledge the fact that anyone can know that you're intuitive or that you have, insight on people's lives to help heal them in one way or another. And I found out that the Reverend Noyes was my, if I can say this right, great, 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 great uncle, I believe. So my direct relative was Reverend James Noyes, and William Noyes was the nephew of Reverend James Noyes. And Nicholas Noyes was son of Nicholas Noyes, so he was the second, and nephew of James Noyes. So on two fronts, I was affected. One, this is my ancestral line that had this involvement in witch hunting. And two, that I have had a lifetime, specifically that I did recall, of being also a witch burned at the stake. So this was super shocking news, because what it means is this: in this day and age, in this age of Aquarius, in this time for humanity, we're healing our ancestral wounds, we're healing our own wounds, we're healing parts of ourselves we didn't even know we needed to heal, our inner child, thoughts and beliefs that were imposed on us. But this, in my own particular life, is huge for both of us, for her and for me, because she stays often with me at my father's house. And this is my father's line. And it was her mother's line that this relative who inflicted the witch wound on. So with this knowledge, it is possible, it is not just possible, it will be done, that we both can heal these wounds, that I can heal the wounds within her, with my relative. And I know both sides of it because I too have been the witch that was burned at the stake for things not of an evil nature. So it's pretty interesting. It's pretty profound right now that this has come to light, because these wounds have to be healed. People need healing. And because we're getting away from the old systems, we're breaking down. I mean, this will take time, but we are going back to herbs and energy and frequency and things that we used to use to heal. And it's going to be no longer demonized, but these wounds have to be healed so that the healers can heal again, so the healers can breathe. I want to say, but I don't want to put her out there. Let's just say a relative is an amazing clairvoyant, and she had to put her gifts away because it tormented her, because of what she saw. She was a clairvoyant, and at 12 years old, she saw spirit. And unfortunately, there was almost no, I didn't know how to deal with it then. I was excited by it because for me, connecting with spirit meant you had a chance to heal your own stuff. And to me, thinking you'd have a better life. This was me back, way back when. And she had to shut it down because she was seeing all kinds of spirits, good, bad, and otherwise. She saw them. I would hear them, but she would see them. And it broke my heart that she had to do that, because then I didn't know how to heal her. I didn't know how to make it okay for her. But when people, as you probably know, anybody who's had a reading, anybody who's wanted to hear from a loved one, there's peace in that. There's healing in that. And so whether you are an intuitive, you're a medicine woman, you channel information, whatever your gift, if you're not using it or feeling comfortable using it for your own healing, or somebody who may ask you for help or something, then that wound needs to be healed, because there's so many people waking up and their wounds need to be healed. And so this witch wound is it's real. It's real. I know we all have the, including myself, image of the old wicked witch, the old witch with the ugly nose and the warts and all that, and the big old cauldron with the, throwing frogs in and things like that to make potions, or making little dolls or something to pinprick, putting substances on them. One of my favorite shows was Merlin. And it's like they continually talk about witch in sort of a negative tone with Morgana. And it hurts all of us in a sense. It really does hurt all of us. And I know there are groups of women who prefer to be called witches in paganistic terms or whatever, and that's okay. I mean, this isn't about picking anybody apart. This is about healing. And if that's your thing, and if that's what you want to call yourself, and that's okay. I think at first, years ago, I was bothered by that. But it doesn't matter, as long as we don't ever get to a point where we start persecuting people for healing ever again. At least not in this era that we're all in right now, that you and me are in right now. So I'm hoping that a follow-up video to this would be an actual sit down with my girl, who's the relative of Sarah Good, and I, the relative of Reverend Noyes, and actually do a healing where we can clear those ancestral lines. I know on my end, because of my own history, I've had a lot of trouble owning up my gifts, owning up to my gifts. I didn't know I had the channel draw ability, which mixes art and spiritual in helping people with karma, or even just, honing in on something specific in their lives using imagery. And I still was like, oh, who needs that now? Like, who really cares? Sometimes I have those days where it's just, who needs it? But I know it's valuable. And the closer we get to healing these wounds, I think we'll all start healing the collective. So I'll add more pieces to this as they come up. You can go on Wikipedia and actually look up Sarah Good. There was also an author. I saw a movie years ago about this, and I remember the several girls acting all crazy, saying, "Yeah, she made us do that and do that." I don't remember what the movie was called, but I also just saw in relationship to this information that the House of Seven Gables was based on this story, on the real events of this. So I'm going to look forward to having my friend on as a guest, my spirit sister as a guest. You won't believe the energy she has and the power behind her voice and the things that she has to say to us. And I've often told her she needs her own podcast because right on. Anyways, so there'll be another part to this, with the healing that we do with her bloodline and my bloodline and getting us right. So thanks for joining me today. Uh, like I said, it's kind of it's kind of a fun topic, spooky topic, very spiritual topic. So you can pick one of those genres and go with that. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll follow up. Thanks to all my fellow witches out there. We got this. We got this.